I'm so damn proud of every single one of you guys at home. You want to know why? Because we got content. We got so much damn content coming in. A little bit on Twitter, but mostly coming in through the Discord. So it looks like the Discord was a great addition just before going into playoffs as well. I see someone sitting there in the watch party channel. Go join them. You know, cheer us on, cheer everything on. You know, just yell. Go in there and yell at him nicely, and be a fan. That's what I'd do if I was able to do it. I could bring this microphone in too, and then put this other headset on. And I could, no, but I'm not going to because I'll probably get in trouble. However, we do have content, so let's bring that up and have a quick look at what we have right here. So, kicking things off, got
he's so good.
Tomicus, LCO players using the interviews to talk smack to one another. That's just trying to get some answers to a questions. Oh, Nat, how's it feel?
It was, I remember earlier in the split, I asked a particular player a question, and they gave like, not a BM response, but kind of a BM response. And the other player in the interview just jumped on it so quickly, and the two of them ran away with it. I was like, yeah, cool guys. Anyway, back to the interview.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
It's good time. I think something similar to that happened the once or twice that Juvie Groovy was also interviewing. So move on to meme number 2 and have a quick look at what we have here. I believe it's Donna Hamer. Ajax getting ready with his monkey to celebrate the last game tonight. He'll be watching on the big screen. No time to snooze today. Gotta be ready. At PentaNetGG, at Sanctum Chaz, at Mez, at LCO. I'm gonna have a crack and say, is Chaz's mum?
I don't think that's Chaz's last name, because that's...
Well, maybe not. Anyway, if you want to be Chaz's mum, please, at Chaz on Twitter. I'm sure he's looking for a second mum.
Chaz's mother.
Why not? Well, you can never have enough mums. Mums are great. Anyway, let's move on to meme number 3. See you later, doggy. Here you go, Caddy.
Yes.
We've got Meredith Pavone again. Mez, how adorable. Much better mascot than PGG Nami. She's always sleeping on the job. So there you go. So looks like that was probably a reply to the tweet that just came up before. And, of course, Nami is always sleeping through this this beautiful evening. I don't know why. Are you guys having a good time, Nat?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, he's not. What a silly bugger.
I think this is a way for cats to have a good time, though. I think Nami sees us having so much fun and just vibing in this atmosphere that she's all like, you know what? My job's here's done. These people are happy seeing my content. I'm going to have a snooze.
True. Well, I guess the PGG game is done anyway. Now, we do have one more meme. I said we got content. We've got a damn lot of it. Have a look at this. Every team in draft tonight.
Damn, bench. Nailed it.
Straight in the bin.
Thomas bench.
It should have been like with a ref with 10 fingers up saying 10 in the bin. I reckon that'd be great. But that's just me. I don't know if you guys would like it. So, you know, Dart, if you're in chat, I know you're busy, but you could probably make that one. Anyway, let's get back to the show.
He's got competition now, doesn't he?
He's got Blue to do his own meme upgrade.
It all started with him, and we had the sort of the self-proclaimed Dar and Taurus Meme of the Year award, and now he's like, well, all right, guys, like, you know, Discord Gat, now everybody's really confident and keen to try and get involved, and look what's happened. 4 in 1 segment, it's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people picking up the weight, picking up that slack for sure. Now, game number 3 of the evening is going to be Peace up against Order. But let's talk Peace first. Finally getting another W, finally finding some success yesterday and finding that 5th position on the leaderboard. So they are in playoffs. But can they really change what's going on here for Order? I'm not too sure. It looks like that the standings are not going to change no matter what happens in terms of the results here. So essentially, it's, I guess it's playing for bragging rights, isn't it, Rusty?
You could say it's a show match. You could absolutely say they're just playing for bragging rights. But the way that I see this game, and I do think this is a really big deal for both teams, is that like the form check that they need, you're not going to get any game like a stage game leading up to playoffs. And both teams have, you know, they've lost a lot, they've won a lot. For Order, they've won a lot more recently, but they just lost to Direwolves, who they're going to be playing against in playoffs if they want to win. Right? And for Peace, they have to make the run through every team, so this is a really good test for not only like how good are Order right now if you have to run through them, but how good are you currently playing? Because Mac, they've only beaten Legacy and Mammoth. Like, that's not really enough to say that they're going to win a game in playoffs.
Yeah, it's a big ask. Now, I just want to quickly derail the broadcast to let everyone know that Groovy Juvie has just said in the chat that he is joining Blue in the viewing party channel in Discord. So jump on in. Go jump in with him. Have a quick chat.
Aww.
I'm sure Groovy Juvie would love to have some company watching this banger game. Now, of course, we do have a second team to talk about. It is going to be Order. Skimmy, they've been looking pretty damn good recently. Tell me, whoa, who's out of the mid lane? Ark, we got a newie.
Yeah, why not? You know, final game of the season, as you say, no real stakes here, but the stage game presence is always going to be fantastic, right? So, Chungy not playing here today, and Art gets himself a chance to debut and show what he's about and sort of establish himself as an upcoming talent. I'm really excited to see it because, you know, what a roster to be on because you're definitely not short of talent across the board here. So, keen to see what his style is and sort of how he integrates.
Yeah, so hopefully he'll have a decent time there at mid. Chungy doing a relatively good job all season, but just having a breather, kicking his feet up. Now, Order have sent in a nice little bit of content, so check this one out.
Now it's Order, it's done, the game is over. Order have beaten Pentanet, they've equalized first place. I think this game for them was like, for Order at least, was can we run it with the big dogs? Are we going to be able to take it? Are we going to be the team that goes to Worlds? And I think maybe they've answered the question.
Obviously we're a rookie team, so our experience in best of fives and in playoff situations isn't as much as other teams. That being said though, I think we're all really hungry to win. Our split one, the way it ended wasn't what we wanted. It wasn't acceptable for us. Like the players that we are, we're all very self-critical, we're all very motivated. Coming in this time, like I think the general vibe of it is a lot better. We're obviously taking games off the regular season off all the top teams. We're showing that we can beat anyone and do it like really easily, or like at least pretty decisively as well. Yeah, so I think we've definitely been really slept on. And at the start of the season when everyone was putting us fifth, like we were all kind of like laughing to ourselves because like obviously we have inside result, like we know like how scrims are going, how practice is going. People now, like as the season has progressed and as we've started like winning, and like obviously we're 14-5, like their record's like really good. Like teams are starting to take us like really seriously, and they're having to like view us as an actual contender as opposed to just a team that shows up and gets fifth. All the top teams are pretty close in terms of skill. At the end of the day, it comes down to like who wants it more and who puts in more work.
Wide Max.
Oh, I'm not
That's
wide.
so good.
I was expecting to come back wide as well. I was feeling it after that. Nice little bit of content coming out of Order there and hearing straight from Maximize. He's really good at speaking on camera. I just want to point that one out. He does a lot of the content. I think the other boys need to pick up their weight because it seems like Maximize has just been put in front of the camera time after time. All right, there's 5 of you, maybe 6 of you
It's
now.
free content though, Mac. Like, I've seen the leak. I've seen the social media. Post Maximize, get interaction.
Very true. Now, Nat, I heard that the interview's ready already. So who do you have for the pregame?
I actually have the man that's going to get me some interaction. That's Maximize and Tally. Thank you both so much for joining me. Maximize, yesterday, unfortunately, you guys didn't get a win. It did end your winning streak. But how are you guys feeling coming into the game tonight?
I think at some point we were bound to take a loss. I think having it come now before playoffs is probably actually really good. Like despite it meaning we can't finish first, we still have a really big learning opportunity. Like we're not unbeatable, we're not invulnerable. If we do draft badly, if we do not stick to our game plan, like we can lose. So I think it's a really good reminder for everyone that we still need to be focused. We still need to put in that work if we want to win it.
Yeah, definitely. I guess did it have some hard conversations within the team or just a general like, man, this is what we need to refocus on?
I mean, not really. I don't think there was too much stuff we needed to address. Particularly going to playoffs, we didn't really want to have like any like massive blow-ups. So it was more just like a refocus, look ahead, look at the playoffs, and look to perform well there and not repeat our mistakes.
Natalia, over at Peace, you guys are definitely coming into a pretty amazing fine form, I would say. You get that win yesterday. Do you think it's going to carry on into tonight?
I'm pretty confident like how we're playing. I think that we've really found our style and like we found the roster that really works. Like even though we haven't beat the top teams, I think that like the way we're playing, it doesn't really matter who we verse. Like if we get champions we're comfortable on and we feel comfortable in the game, like no one can really match up to us. Yeah, for sure. Now, this game doesn't have as high stakes as, you know,
coming first or seed. But I guess what would this win mean for you?
I think it'd just be like a solidification or like a confidence, like knowing that we are actually playing well. Because I think Order is like if you beat a team like Order, it is like you are beating a team that is a contender. So I think like getting a win now would just be a confidence boost for us.
Would it also help your confidence in the mid lane, or are you already pretty confident with how you're playing there?
I mean, if I'm being honest, like I think I roll off to mid and I have a bigger champion pool than everyone in the league. I think I'm able to play multiple styles and everyone else is pretty one-dimensional. And I also think that I'm currently making the meta and everyone is just copying what I'm playing, so we'll see.
Big words. I absolutely love it. Gonna clip that one. Gonna save it. We'll see if it comes back to bite you at the end of playoffs. But I do also want to quickly, one last question. Maximize, is the last time you guys faced, you went up against Tally in the top lane. Now you're gonna be coming up against Appy again. How are you feeling? More confident, or how do you think it's gonna play out for you in the top lane?
I think both Peace top laners are actually really good. They bring sort of different things to the role. I think honestly, there's not like too big of a gap in skill between either of them, so it's pretty much the same. I think on a whole, their roster is like definitely the final form of Peace, in my opinion. So it'll be really interesting to see how we match up as a whole, 5 versus 5.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for this matchup too. So I'll let you guys go. Good luck for the game tonight, and thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Nat.
Ooh, some bold words coming out
loved it.
there. I love bold words in interviews. Like,
Same.
I am the best and stuff. Like, I know more champs than you know.
I'm making the meta.
Yes.
I am the meta.
That's a big call. Anyway, let's see if Meta Man can get the W today, and let's see what we think this game is going to do in terms of the predictions. Bringing that one up, Skimmy and Rusty. Oh, Rusty's either going to be pulling ahead or Skimmy's going to be catching up. Love to see it.
I like it. That's all I was going to say. Do you want me to talk,
I was like, okay.
do you want me to talk more about it? I can. What do you want to know specifically, Mac?
What would this win mean to you?
What's your number?
Ooh, I have to tell you that off broadcast.
Why
Mac.
not?
Because after the census, I'm already getting enough spam, so I need to know your number.
Very true, very true. Now, Skimmy, tell me why, Peace.
I just think I've seen Peace come back in 11-15 and really sharp. I think this is the strongest 5-man roster, given all the rosters that they've displayed to us so far. I think they're a team that are like, hang on a minute, we were second. We're now finding ourselves locked in 5th, not where we want to be, but I feel like they're kind of enraged. You see the confidence there. I believe in an upset.
Okay, and it seems Nat believes in the same thing, so you jumping in the bandwagon there, Nat?
I'm genuinely really surprised at how many people are going for Order here. I feel like after yesterday's performance from both the teams, I would have thought it would have been a clean sweep for Peace across the board. I genuinely do have so much faith in them stepping up today.
First of all, this is not a slight to you, Nat, but I cannot remember a time that you haven't tipped Peace, regardless of their roster.
Okay.
I honestly think
Wait,
it was maybe
okay.
5 weeks in a row now.
I love an underdog story, and I felt really bad for Peace. There's a lot of times I've tipped Mammoth as well. So
Yeah.
it's not a Peace thing, it's just an underdog thing.
Yep, but they
Okay.
only beat Legacy, so, take that for what it's worth.
Well, I don't know, underdog, Dagwood dog, like what you're going to do. Oh, speaking of, exclamation DoorDash in the chat if you're hungry, get yourself a Dagwood dog if there's something in the vicinity like a circus. And other than that, I'm a bit of a clown, so I'm going to go find a circus while the game's starting. So let's see how this one goes. Order and Peace coming at you now.
So it will be, Mac, as we look to try and draw a conclusion on another head-to-head. Still tied 1-1, another variation of the roster, as we said. Peace looking to try and, I'd say, cause an upset, because it feels like that, Rusty, because you're looking at the score sheet for the split as a whole, and that will be kind of fair to stay.
Yeah, I think, I'm actually very interested in what Tally's going to do here more than anything else. Give me coming into this one, because, yeah, Peace have got the roster that you'd expect to stay. Does Appy continue to stay top lane because he has looked a little bit more unrefined than the Appy that we're used to seeing? I think that's a point that Max will probably attack. And what will Tally play if he is defining this meta against a new player who, Order, I believe, said Skimmy, have a different champion pool for Arc, which is one of the main reasons that they have him there as a substitute in the first place.
Yeah.
So this could actually change the identity of the team as a whole. So very interested to see what the man who makes the mid lane does against him.
But I'm sure, if anything, Maximize is hoping he doesn't get put back on karma duties. He wasn't a big fan of that one, right? So the identity can change. Maybe Kevy's not the hard carry from the jungle position that we've come to sort of expect of him this split. But one thing that will remain consistent is a third game and a third insta-lock first pick Viego.
Yeah, also a Twisted Fate ban. So Arc maybe has the same champion pool. It could be a playstyle thing. Given that Galio and TF are banned away.
Yeah.
It could be that they aren't too familiar with Arc and they're just banning known quantities that Order play as a composition. Either way, like you mentioned, Viego's picked. And the Viego just seems to be here every single time. It shows that the priority has really shifted away from banning him, but Gwen is also up.
Yeah, Gwen is available, and it's not often that we see that, and you definitely feel that whilst Viego is finding success in the mid lane, at least for today, that Gwen still can be chosen, despite it seemingly falling off a cliff on this patch. That's going to be a Sejuani, however, as Babip's going to reveal his jungle matchup and say, we want CC, we want matchups that allow us to brawl, and already a bit of strong setup.
Absolutely. I think that the decision to go for a Sejuani straight out of the gates here second does indicate that their third pick could be, like a Camille. You'd expect, again, a melee champion that has attack resets. Renekton's the other champion that people go for. Banned away, of course, this time around by Order. So that should cement Viego mid, Camille top. It's very rare that you would see a Camille mid. And the interesting part about this, Skimmy, is it's also a takeaway from Order. Max is a very prolific Camille player. It is definitely his champion of choice. But you would have to say that is predictable. It's not locked in.
Yeah.
But the hover of the Jax is definitely an omen that may play into the minds of Peace come next ban.
And we've seen Jax on either side of the coin, right? We've seen Max play it, have to go up against it when he himself was playing the Camille. I was interested whether or not there'd be a world in which Appy might play something like the Kennen, given it has been buffed. We saw it from Split 1. Definitely a champion that could look to try and cause headaches to Order, but they've gone for comfort. They've gone for what works best for them, as have Order, who have locked in the Canes. So at least no difference to start off the draft here for Order. But we get ourselves into the second rotation. Clear focus now from Order to ban away some of these supports to make Beats' life as easy as possible. But Peace have taken away the Akali. So stem the aggression, allow them to be the ones that are looking to really try and blow you up first.
Yeah, still a decent amount of focus, it feels like, towards Arc's champion pool. It's not easy to jump on stage for your first game and just be constantly targeted through bans. Probably looking for an AD carry pick here, so if it is Kindred, it would be AD carry Kindred. So just keep that in mind. It's not impossible. Thresh as your lock-in opens up, the Varuses, the Aphelioses, things like that to exist. Ashe also an option. I wouldn't Ashe into the enemy composition though. I think that'd be pretty suicidal. And okay, so they're gonna hide their AD carry choice here by revealing that it's gonna be the Lee Sin top and the Cassiopeia mid. The matchups are known.
Yeah, they needed a bit of AP magic damage, or AP damage I should say. Not double downing on that one, but I mean there it is, right? If you want a hard carry that can look to really output that, then here you go. Arc sort of announced himself as that player, and whilst the champions were getting a ban away from him as if it was Chongi.
This is, I think, the Chiefs composition from a couple weeks ago that lost to Direwolves that we saw earlier today. It would be very similar if the Braum is the decision that they choose to go towards. Braum obviously couples extremely well with all of the champions locked in, but Leona, provides a lot in general. It's much more forward-facing, where Braum is more versatile and likes to kite backwards. So I don't mind it. Again, the one thing that stands out to me is Peace's composition, quite AD-heavy. There is some true damage there. There is a little bit of magic damage between a Sejin and Ezreal, but it's very AD-centric. So, tanks would have a field day against it, Skimmy, but there's not a lot of tanks there from Order's comp.
No, it's very aggressive, isn't it, right? Now you've locked yourself in a Kindred, it's pretty much that reset button. Times two. I mean, you're thinking about the Petrifying Gaze, first of all, from Cassiopeia to try and turn things around. Same could be said there for the last respite of a Kindred as well to prevent the aggression that Peace have clearly put together. You mentioned it's a composition that we've seen from Chiefs. You'd imagine it would be a Chiefs comp because it is very much a case of Braum and Sejuani, find a target, they will fall on down. So much peel. And Violet, I mean, has been given all the resources in the world to pop off.
I could see the reactions from Max and Kevy there. They were very desperately trying to trade. If anyone was worried about why they were overreacting, I believe you have to be locked in at 20 seconds or you can't trade after that point. And Max was yelling go or something along those lines. As maybe Kevin was holding him hostage or maybe they forgot to trade. But either way, they snuck in there with 20 seconds left on the clock. So the composition is as we expected it to be. I was definitely holding my breath watching that one until I saw Max yelling, which confirmed what we were expecting.
Could have been exciting. Could have been a little bit different, but not to be the case, unfortunately. So all you guys at home, we will get something a little bit more standard. Well, what a composition, right? I mean, from the side of Peace, pretty much feels like them to a T. Get in your face, fights, 15 minutes in, we want to be in a point of strength. But we've known that Order are quite adept at dealing with us, right? They've done it before to try and defuse Chiefs. Do you think with what they flex with this Cassiopeia and Kindred, that's enough in isolation, perhaps, to try and do the same again here?
I think what works really well about their composition is just how difficult it feels for Peace to actually kill them. If the fight's to break out front to back, you'll have, the Sejuani go in, the Camille go in, the Viego go in, the Leona go in. You're all going on top of a Kindred ultimate with no actual displacement to stop them from being permanently invulnerable. You then have a Lee Sin that has mobility and can kick you away. You have a Cassiopeia that is designed to protect your carries behind you, which will be the Kindred. And you have a Kayn that can also become untargetable when he uses that ultimate. So there's a crazy amount of tools there to deal with Peace in a front to back.
Well, with all the tools available, let's talk to Coach Omo and ask him about it. Well, welcome back, mate, first of all. Congratulations on a fantastic split. You've locked in second, up from fourth in split one. So, if anything else, you managed to claim upper bracket advantage this time.
Yeah, it's a bit of a relief, especially for our younger players, to be able to have sort of a second life to give them that confidence. At the same time, I think we could have done better in regular season, but with that said, we are just looking forward to playoffs, so yeah.
Obviously, best of five is another killer of fish. Talk to me about Ark. I mean, he's come into this roster. We saw a lot of bans as if Chungi was still playing. What does he bring to the table? How's he been for the team, settling in, and sort of what can we expect for him?
Yeah, I think like in our release from Gomez, we basically said that Ark has been a really great teammate, a really great person to have in our team the whole split, even though he hasn't played much, and this is the first chance he got to play. He's been bringing very good positive environments to our scrims and everything, and both our mid laners have been super pleasant about this whole six-man experience, and I think that yeah, like both of them bring a lot in terms of their individual gameplay, the champions they're able to play, and I think with Ark here we're able to hopefully show off some different strategies going into game as well.
I mean, it's invaluable experience, right? I mean, you can talk about scrims, but it's nothing compared to the real deal of stage experience. I mean, form check-wise, you guys coming into this one, you've had a pretty strong win streak at times. You talk about the draft in particular here. Is this another bit of LPL cheese, I want to say, where we saw like the brand support come out from there? We've now got ourselves a Kindred 80 carry.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Kindred 80 carry was actually played for one game in LPL, but mainly it's just something that Puma likes to play. We played at 1 or 2 games in scrims. It's not I wouldn't say it's a troll pick, but it's also something we haven't practiced too much. But since it's the last game of the split, I think we figured this would be the best time to actually test it on stage.
Beautiful, mate. Well, on a final note, looking back at the split as a whole, you talk about saying that you would have been much more keen to get first place, but would you still say that this has been a marked improvement, sort of a success for the most part?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we are aiming to go far in playoffs, and having upper bracket advantage is always going to be helpful for that end goal. So, yeah.
Fantastic, mate. Well, it's been a pleasure watching you boys, and I wish you guys the best of luck in this game. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Well, we probably want to get a replay of that one, because we did just see a 2v2 happen bot extremely early while you were in the coach's interview there, Skimmy. Was a 2-for-1 trade in the end, with both AD carries picking up all 3 of those kills, but I see a Thresh against a Leona, and I think to myself, there's no way Leona's going to hit an E, right, to start a fight, but here we are. So hopefully we get to see that again.
Is that just the Aladoric difference? I mean, I'm concerned when I see Violet so early on, got a double kill, and you're thinking it's an Ezreal. He wants early items, wants that power spike. I mean, are we back to business for Peace?
Starting to feel like a bit of an Aladoric Violet bot lane difference for sure. And when you put these two together, it does seem to mean a great deal. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so basically, if you're playing Thresh into Leona, there's really no way that Leona should be able to just walk at you and press the stun. You should be able to buffer the Flay far enough back that she can't reach you. But, you know, that's the way it plays out. So a small little mechanical mistake there, it feels like. And I mean small, because he still hit the flay.
Yeah.
It does add up to being a kill. And yeah, we have ourselves a big Violet. We have ourselves a big Alidoric. And it's a scary time for Order. However, I will bring up the composition again, Skimmy, because it's significant, right, in how this plays out.
And let's touch on that for a little bit more. Go down that rabbit hole, because I mean, you're talking about Kevy. He can displace himself, become invulnerable for a second with his ultimate. You've got Beats with the Lantern, as we already touched on. The Lamb's Respite is going to be huge, welcoming in the attention from Peace, and then the turnaround with Ark's Cassiopeia. I mean, there's plenty of tools that we've seen Order do successfully in the past. This time the Flay is a little bit more successful, and it will force Alidoric away, so he can't hit the Q afterwards. But
yeah,
I think if anything else, this bot lane exchange, Violet's come out ahead for more reasons than just the 2 kills. He's still got his flash.
Yeah, he still has the summoner. Top's going to have a bit of a trade there as well. It feels like Appy's controlling this one, but is starting to run low on mana. Has Biscuits, so in relatively good setup here. The one place that kind of breaks the trend of Peace's composition, Skimmy, is the Ezreal. You know, the least requirement to be super forward, super aggressively postured, can just poke you down. Can also, I'm not going to say he's going to do this, but can consider building some magic damage, some AP in the build. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays.
Certainly isn't going to be shy of any protection to allow him to farm all those kills up and do a stereotypical Violet performance, a 1v9, like we've come to expect of him. Heavy, looking for things, looking for some aggressive trades very early on to try and get that form online as quickly as possible, and just letting Appy know that I'm in the area, but nothing more than just that, as the Xenoblade once again goes in, but another fantastic play, right time, right place, keeps Peace at bay.
And all it takes is that one mistake for things to go awry, but Beats has got his eye in. He's definitely warmed up this time. Max still struggling for health, but has had a pretty consistent hover from Kevy also. And mid lane is a place that, is diving bottom.
It's a huge dive now, looking for it. A 2-man stun, it's just gone like that. Once again, Violet picks up a kill. Can he get the double? He can! 6 minutes in, and Violet has 4 kills.
Yeah, and they juggle the aggro so well there also. That really is going to be a deadly situation for Order to deal with. A 4-0 Ezreal has so far surpassed what is a Tyrion Sheen build. It's going to be quite unbearable for any kinds of kindreds without stacks to deal with. Top side, you've seen the attempt of a trade here from Order, but the transaction is not really winning in contrast, but they're going to maybe dive.
Making a cross-map play. Appy looking to try and hit the ultimate to lock them in place for a bit of time, and, well, instantly, it's gone. There's nothing to become of it.
Okay. So they'll get the ult. We'll see what happens bottom here as well, because there's no teleport opportunity from Ark. He just teleported mid, which is kind of the cardinal sin. If you're going to teleport mid, you have to be aware of where the Viego could be. So ultimately, it's a good roam from Tally. There's not much more you could say about that one. And top lane was constantly fighting, so Max to teleport down there was a pretty dangerous thing to do in the first place. But nevertheless, big win by Peace back-to-back. And getting an ult top lane is not a worth trade.
But he isn't, because this is Peace playing for a very aggressive early game start. The first Dragon of the game goes their way, picked up here by Babip, a 2k gold lead. Actually, I get ahead of myself for a second. A 1200 gold lead to talk about here for Violet and for the team as a whole. But you'd imagine him in particular, because that may be a 10-minute completed Trinity Force.
Which is pretty bloody gross. Pretty bloody gross. It could also be the Essence Reaver build. I'm wondering where he is going to go. Trinity Force is his standard, right? But we've also seen a lot of people go Manamune Rush, which I believe is the exact item components that he has, and you leave it at the Sheen. It does stack up the Muramana a little bit faster. You can just base it on auto attacks as well. I forget the exact amount of time. I think it's 8 minutes between Manamune completed and Muramana upgraded from 0 tier stacks. He's going to be able to do that one with a 100 stack advantage. But still, it's just laning. And I think if laning continues as it is, it's pretty bad for Order, given how strong Violet and Alidoric are. Because they're going to be unlocked, right? They can kind of go anywhere.
Ooh. Nearly denied the recall, but Beats will get it off and has now halved elsewhere on the map, as he's done so successfully multiple times this split. Looking for a bit of a battle topside now, as that Rift Herald has spawned, but Peace will have the inline track. They've just pushed that mid wave, assisted as a group. Give me the first ones to that Herald to see if they can try and claim it as their own. It'd be even more damage in the wounds for a very successful start in this game.
This has been spotted. Kevy can navigate through the walls perfectly fine. Beats being here to match Arc means that Babip cannot do this alone ever. So ultimately, it looks like they could be giving this. I don't think you fight for it. You could maybe try and steal. Aladoric's here now, though.
Oh, Aladoric's come in with the massive solar flare. That may just be game-changing. That surely is something that you would be proud to deliver, because that's allowing them now to find kills after kills. Still, Peace have numbers strong, 2v2, with Tally on the flank as well. Whilst Kevy has the Heralds, a wave has crashed on in. They're just going to dive and look to try and juggle this one again. The CC is there, the tower juggling, looking to go on through. Is Aladoric manages to get away. Appy was tanking, then Tally is too. Nobody's died, and they picked up another kill.
Appy does die, though, so they don't get to reset the tower's damage that it was dealing. But still, they get the kills. The wave has crashed. They're feeling so confident about this one, and Peace have gone consistently really good in the team fights. That combo was nuts. You know, the fact that it's a Sejuani and a Leona making that play, they have no right almost cleaning up from their damage alone. But you'll see Appy come in with a nice hook shot, dodges the hook. Solar Flare on top of the Sejuani ultimate. They layer the Sunlight passive with the permafrost. Oh my god, man, it's just so pretty.
I mean, whilst we talk about the spotlight usually being on these carries, there's not a better feeling in the world than witnessing that and actually delivering it as a support player. Pretty much guaranteeing that you're going to win.
The only tragedy here is that the turret just does so much damage. There's no way Appy's going to survive that one. A few minions there. Kevy does his best. Max does his best to survive. I think he actually hit a pretty good kick in that one as well. But ultimately, whatever you try and do is just going to be scraps in the face of what Peace just did to them.
And it's actually going to be Appy, the first one to get his mythic complete. We talked about the Bruiser boys of the game earlier today. Well, this is the Divine Duo. Big damage between the Camille and the Viego. Wherever they go, you're going to be very scared of, because it isn't all about this Ezreal. And whilst he's on the screen there is Violet. 4-0 so far. Strength across the board here for Peace. And now a big bit of an order, no pun intended, for them to have to try and deal with this.
Very hard not to say the puns, isn't it? You read their names, it's almost impossible. It's like when I first started casting Only's games, the amount of times that I said only per minute.
Fantastic flash there from Art, good petrifying gaze, but the follow-up once again, the duo of a jungle support coming together. You can flash one, but you can't flash twice. Doesn't get much easier than that, but Kevy is looking to try and even the odds, looking to try and give Appy a second death in this game. TP to back him up, making it a 2v2. Would have to try and disengage away from this one, as Kevy is still hunting for that form upgrades.
Yeah, that's really all that was. That gank attempt to me was definitely an attempt to just get your form upgrade. The cost in mid lane's obviously, again, very high. Aladoric and Babip working seamlessly as a pair, moving around the map. Violet just quietly 4-0 still. Once he gets unlocked, it's going to be a big deal. This game has the potential to go from a 3,000 gold lead to absolutely skyrocket out of control very fast. I think mid-game is probably the point that you're looking at the most for this. You know, next Herald up can help break turrets. The second that they are able to actually situate their Ezreal Leona mid, dangerous territory for the side of Order.
Well, they're going to come back to this one, and they will have the double TP advantage at least at their disposal. So if they can find some way to punish Peace, then that could be their avenue back in to try and close that gap that you've just mentioned. A second dragon, and it will be Peace that'll claim it for themselves. But it will still be Kevy hanging around top side, looking to try and get Maximize back into this game. He's yet to find a kill, but he's ahead in CS, and now with some plates going in his favor as well. Might be all he could ask for, but no, Appy decides otherwise. Stop camping my lane! I'll just kill you in isolation. Max is trying to push the way, trying to get gold for himself. Has to hit the kick, but Aladoric once again. Watch for the solar flare. He predicted the safeguard away, but it doesn't matter because the Xenoplade's there still to follow. You can't just dodge all these skill shots. It's just a little bit too good.
Yeah, I mean, this Leona is kind of insane, no? Like, it's doing a little bit too much work on the map everywhere. Diving top lane, diving mid lane, winning fights at the Herald while bot lane's still in their control. We finally got the form, and again, Kevy was like low-key hinting to try and get the form. He gets there, but it wasn't low-key in the end. Appy just Uncle Drews him and says, "Don't reach, young blood." Puts him in the bin for it.
And he is the red cane now, so a lot of sustain. A nice little knock up on his W as well, so might not be as hard for him to fall on Dan as a result. And Violet, I mean, he doesn't really need the protection of Aladoric there backing up. He is so strong on his own that he is just farming up a storm, all his individual experience. Aladoric is literally, as you say, unleashed on the map to make sure that that power is distributed equally. And I mean, 15 minutes in, you talk about a strong start. This is the piece that we came to know and love.
Yeah, this is absolutely so much closer to the piece that we saw contest BGG for the finals, right? In Split 1. So that is as big a throwback as we can possibly come up with given the trajectory of this squad through the split, but bot lane seems reinvigorated, and that is the type of performance that we've seen them win games with. But now we've added in Tally mid, right? We've added in Babip jungle, and they're finally all working together. The pieces are finally falling in place. And this is the type of team, again, barring the fact that Order maybe, you know, with a substitute mid laner trying a couple champions, sure. The form from Peace alone stands out to me as a contender.
And that was the question mark really drawn on this, wasn't it, right? The fact that they've come into this game and the opposition has been Mammoth, has been Legacy, and you're saying, all right, but how do they stack up against the very best? And I mean, if they can get a dub here today, certainly would be exciting. Kevy duking at terrain, not going to get stunned, and a lantern at least will get him out of harm's way.
It's quite nice actually from Order. They get a teleport out basically for free. They'll be able to contest this mid wave, so they're not going to lose too much here at all. It is going to be a lot of time where the whole team is spending it together, which isn't ideal. But overall, like, you get the teleport, you set yourself up for a play where you have a TP advantage. There's not much more you could ask for if you're Order to try and bring back this 3k deficit. Play the map from this moment for the next couple of minutes before Tally has TP. See if you can get something going your way.
Second and the final Herald going the way of Peace now. As we might have a bit of a lull in the action, waiting for that third dragon to spawn. A chance really for Order to decide, is it worth contesting to prevent the early soul point? Cloud Soul up for grabs. And Peace still don't have the TP advantage. So there's some mind games here as to sort of using that summoner advantage versus the Herald summoning and sort of what equates to more in the end.
I mean, Herald post 14 minutes is going to have a higher chance of getting a turret. It's going to have less chance of getting some gold unless you place it on, you know, one of the side lanes for the inner turret. Gold value's there. Ultimately, they are just going to break this mid lane outer. What does the dragon get? If you were to prioritize the dragon, which isn't the case, it's going to be... Actually, we might just... Max might die.
I mean, it's just what Aladoric really is. It always starts with him and it ends with him, and he is just playing out of his mind right now, really making a statement to people at home saying, you know, we've heard all these roster swaps, but this is what the bot lane should look like.
Yeah, TP advantage meaning nothing there. They want it.
Oh, fantastic play there from Order to turn things around. They really wanted to have something there. A nice flash forward to hit the hook, and then a follow-up there from Ark to pick up the kill. Now going to try and find more. They've isolated Babip. It will be Kevy that picks up the kill. That's what they needed. Shutdowns across the board. Bit of gold to try and keep this one close. It's still a 3k lead. It was at a numbers advantage.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say the teleport advantage may be meaning less and less as time passes. They're still fighting.
It hasn't stopped just yet. No, Tally's still topside, but Appy on his own, single-handedly removing Ark. The empowered Q, just too much to handle from a Camille. Now Maximize is following him, looking to try and have a bit of a battle between the two bruises. Both getting quite low, but another two members here locking themselves in place, but right now Order's health bars are fragile. They're starting to fall on down. Kevy
This is chaotic.
Immune for a little bit of time right now, getting a lot of lifesteal and surviving. I might actually try and take out Aladoric here, who has to flash away, and he does survive, and Maximize is now getting juked by it, but comes across with the safeguard to a ward. But this may be Tally's playground where he can claim all the souls in the world. But that kick away is not enough as Maximize gets his first double of the game.
Okay, so, I mean, that was a crazy series of skirmishes in the middle of a team fight. There was no real cohesive front to back there. Just a lot of 1v1s, a lot of 1v2s. Insane damage you can see, of course, from those that were involved through the majority of that fight.
0.
0 for a certain Ezreal that didn't have an opportunity to move, which again was fair play from Order because they were the ones who wanted that fight. But still it's Peace to get the dragon and the gold that stays. So we'll see the second part of this fight. Arc just dies to Appy. And this is going to be a jumble. So in terms of breaking it down, you've just got Aladoric and Tally trying to kill Kevy, but he is a Kayn that has ultimate and Gore Drinker, so it's going to take a while. Beats is sharing a lot of the burden between both of them. It hits some good skill shots and hooks, yes, but meanwhile, you've had Max and Appy just smacking each other. Like, Max was steadily going to win that one. Comes in well to get himself another kill, yeah. Has the kick back up to disengage, but geez, I mean, that was just skirmishes, right?
I mean, that really was a case of not necessarily form checking, but basically saying, all right, we've had enough of this one. You guys are getting a little bit too comfortable in this game, and you have a gold lead, but we're not going to fall over that easily. And nice series of events for Order to keep this one competitive, as they've now got items across the boards.
And
shown us a glimpse.
Close, though, Skibby.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a glimpse of what this composition can achieve.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think, again, we haven't seen Peace coming towards Order when they're actually set up, ready to take a fight. Which is, you know, moments like now, it's possible.
Oh, no. Well, it could have been disaster there for Babbitt, but thankfully for him, he can sidestep the hook, not even need to worry about using the blast cone to safety. He can literally just mount off into the sunset.
I think we're missing, like, the real checkmate piece of the draft puzzle for Order in a lot of these fights. I think the skirmishes have been fine. Appy should handle Max from now on, given that he's completed 2 items, and one of them's also heal cut.
Yeah.
But Kindred being in the mix throws a giant spanner in the works. And we have to keep our eyes on Puma when the next fights happen and see what he can get done. Because, you know, there's so much crowd control, it's possible to be layered even through a cleanse to lock down Puma. If it doesn't, though, then Order have enough time to make a play.
I think that's what we're really looking for as a whole, right? Is sort of the contribution that these 2 marksmen can make and what a fight looks like with those 2 involved. Kevy, very close to having his blue buff stole on the way, but we'll guarantee it as Peace continue to hunt them down in their own jungle. And if you have a quick check at the minimap, very defensive warding from Order.
Yeah, they definitely recognize the game state. Overall, it is still Peace in control. Definitely still Peace in the driver's seat. They are very threatening. 2 items done for the Ezreal. Working on the Cerildas is going to be overwhelmingly strong at that point. Blade of the Ruin King as well for Tally, so he's going to be smashing front to back damage. And they also have the freedom of splitting. So you can realistically 1-3-1 with your composition, and nothing's going to touch this Ezreal with the 2 actual fridges. Just full-on refrigeration unit sitting in front of him. Fridge and freezer.
Keeping you cold on a hot winter's night.
Just industrial level. But yeah, nothing's going to touch Violet. So you can feasibly 1-3-1. And that's the thing with this game. It does feel like it is basically Peace's game to lose with the leads that they have. But there is still so much potential on Order's side that we can't understate that.
Yeah. And we have seen stranger things happen in the past, right? We've seen teams claw back and win games, or even just win skirmishes on their own with, say, 7k down, for instance. So we're not quite at that point just yet. It's 4k in favor here for Peace at the 23-minute mark, and they've got themselves 3 dragons, so Order haven't really been able to contest them to prevent that. A minute to talk about for the overall soul point. I think we might have a little bit of quiet wave clearing, a bit of ping pong until such point.
Getting to the dragon's another story, though. I think you'll be pretty miffed that it's a cloud soul and that it is a soul in the first place, but I think you're okay that it's a cloud if you had to give it. I don't think you'd want to, though. So the question remains on how Order look towards this dragon and what they choose to do. 20 seconds and 0 vision setup besides a flank ward means that they're heavily prioritizing Baron. And that's fair, because you obviously want to still prioritize the Baron at all times, but it means that Peace can actually control the map pretty easily. If you have vision at Baron, feel Peace, then Dragon's free. And right now, you can just send Appy to solo it at no cost.
Yeah, I mean, he's hit the wave. He's then backed off to this. They have no idea that he's here. It would seem like a possibility, given that Peace control both major objectives. They control the mid lane as well. The invitation to try and find out what they're up to, it's just not possible. It's been denied. Soul point picked up. Now Order get a small chance to clear out vision and try and dissuade Peace from doing it as well.
Hunting mid lane. Shirelli is on.
Yeah, Shredder's been popped. Kevy looking for the knock-up to try and mark them and
Yeah, no
with
chance.
the ultimate, but a little bit too much of a reach for that to be possible.
Quite a slippery champion is the old Ezreal. Able to walk that one away. Use all the mobility that he has. Will be perfectly fine. And if your engage is just going to be popping a Shirelli as his thresh, you're never really going to get that. You're just hoping on a prayer. So they're just going to disengage that one regardless. So the game continues in Peace's hands. We had a stack check as well. 1 stack on the old Kindred.
It's rough, isn't it?
Not very good.
I mean, at the bare minimum, you're really after, what, 4? Starting powering those abilities. It's not been ideal in that regard. He hasn't been able to find the pick targets that he's been after, the ones that he's marked. As you can see right now, he's really hunting to try and take out Violet, sorry. Here goes Beats.
Big hook.
And he has found him. And Puma's going to flash over the wall to try and chase him down and try and find that kill. There goes the Lamb's Respite, which will keep him topped up and healthy and pretty much nullify the entirety of the Ezreal ult. So a trade between those two. And a fight that continued from the mid lane all the way up to the top half of the map between Tally and Kevy. But it's not done just yet, Rusty, no. Oh, Maximize just a safeguard away. That's a fantastic goal. Appy, a little bit too good as the Camille. And now dashing in for more. A Blast Cone saves 2, but leaves the other 2 to fall on Dan. It's only going to be Beats in the end that dies as a result, as Kevy can run away. But Peace, the mechanics are showing, and then there's a Baron on the menu.
I mean, you've got to use the ward hop before the Camille starts the ult. Gets just ripped back to where he was, no way out. Just dead to rights. Kevy and Arkia as well. Baron secured. Peace are so far into the driver's seat in this game. There's no way back for Order. This Baron buff should just be a free reset, and at this point, I'm not really seeing an angle here, Skimmy. I'm really not seeing an angle.
Well, the idea that we sort of had around this composition was if it all came together, there would be some tools to really prevent Peace all coming together. But it has been fragmented, hasn't it? It's always been fights in different directions, little breakdowns of 2v2s and 3v3s. And it seems like Peace right now is sort of thriving in that chaos because they are individually ahead. But now as a whole team, find themselves at a 8k lead with a Baron. Now they're going to push to get some inhibs.
Yeah, so let's just quickly take stock of a couple of things here that are pretty significant. We mentioned this in the first game when Shock was playing the Cassiopeia into the Viego. This didn't play out the same way at all. Ooh, okay.
Okay, well, Appy just followed that one all the way to the bot tier 2. This time, though, a little bit more of a tall ask to try and secure it.
So the mid lane matchup didn't play out the same way at all, right? And it's fair to say Shock, or Arc is not Shock, so it's a different kind of matchup in that respect. The Viego seemed perfectly fine. There is also exactly zero Merc treads on the side of Order against a lot of crowd control, which can come to hurt you. Nice little dodges from Kevy. The lack of Merc treads, while plated steel caps are fine because they are an AD heavy team, that is one of the side effects, right, of building this composition. You choose to go boots for your enemy comp, you suffer from stun duration.
Well, Kevy's gone in, and whilst you are Red King with a whole bunch of lifesteal, not enough when you've got 4 very hungry Peace members chasing you down. Maximize looking to try and kick them away from this wave. The Peace of a cannon, and that's inspired by the Baron buff, and now they can quite comfortably split their attention between top and mid and look to try and take 2 as their ultimate prize. 25 seconds before Kevy does come up and available again, so an influx of members, 5v4, 1 goes down. And now the question becomes, do they look for the end, or do they go for the mid inhib instead?
Violet's just a pest. constantly poking with those Mystic shots just out of the range of your opponents. And right now, dashing in aggressively, knows exactly what he's doing. 2 inhibitors could very easily become the entire game from this point. The way that Peace are playing right now. Revitalized.
One last chance here for Order to put up a valiant defense. A single inhibitor is all that remains. Another fantastic solo flare to open things up. Appy jumps in. There's Lambs' fight, but it doesn't prevent Maximize from falling on down. There's the health bars topped up and healthy, but for how much longer? Because Peace are looking for the perfect game. Remove everything, buff up the minions, flood the base with pressure, and look to close out their split with a victory. A form check that does mean something. A roster that is looking the goods. You said revitalized. They look to be the real deal. A single tower and a GG screen for them to be proud of. That's 30 minutes into this one. Appy jumps in, goes golden instantly, and they might just look to have a little bit of fun with it in the fountain area. Tanner's going to jump on through. Also, both taunting him, not going to get committed to by the laser, but one by one they go. And Kevy, similar situation to before, jumps in unprotected. He can't life steal. This was too much CC. On the day, Peace will win. Peace are back in business.
Yeah, just a solid victory there from Peace. Not a lot to pick apart, not a lot to complain about. I think what we can say for certain is that Violet and Aladoric are here to play. You know, come this playoffs time, they're definitely here to win, and they're cementing themselves as a definite contender for the title. And if nothing else, this makes the playoffs of the LCO for this split incredibly exciting, because they are the team that is in 5th. And if they want to make it to the finals, they have to run the gauntlet to get there.
Yeah, there's no second chances for them this time around. A much harder ask. But Mac, I mean, maybe there's a bit of credit to the coaching staff because they've made all these roster changes. We saw times where you're thinking that's not what we would consider your strongest roster, but they've done it. They're locked in playoffs and they've beaten a very good opponent.
They certainly are. And look, maybe a couple of weeks off is exactly all that was needed for a couple of players there on Peace. So bringing them back into the lineup and they're playing out of their damn minds. Aladoric with that bloody ultimate as well to pretty much kick off the festivities nice and early on. I think it was around the 10-minute mark. That was absolutely insane, and I hope we get to see a little bit more of that from Peace, especially now that they are in the playoffs. So keeping it spicy, as you've mentioned. Order looking pretty good. I believe they will be up in 3rd place when the head-to-head goes up against Pentanet, right? If I'm off the top of my head. I think so. Peace with the W means Order is 2nd place, rather.
Order are locked 2nd regardless from head-to-head.
Yes, Order are locked 2nd.
This actually doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
And, yeah. All right, so this is it. This is it. So standings are locked. So you have Pentanet 1st, Order 2nd, Direwolves 3rd, Chiefs 4th, and Peace 5th. So they are going to be the placements no matter what happens, especially in the last game coming up. But this game in particular, as you mentioned, big form check, and Peace are looking like they know exactly what they're doing now. They had a bit of a rocky split, bit of both.
Bit of a rocky.
Bit of a touch balls engage.
Yeah, rocky night for me. So how about you tell me what happened, Skimmy? What went down here?
I mean, I just think it was confidence. They played a composition that they feel very adept at. They sort of found the strength to say, we will take these chances and they will actually benefit us. You know, it was the old Violet Aladoric show to start things off with. It didn't stop there because Aladoric was then unleashed, as you mentioned, what was it, 10 minutes in? The biggest solo flare you're probably ever going to see in your life. He gets it, allows the rest of his team to get strong. Probably above anything else, I just really loved the confidence when they went for those tower dives, the juggling, the sort of kill distribution, and just the map state as a whole.
Yeah, it's just a crazy game. I thought, you know, there was definitely a few chances there for Order. Crazy skirmish in the bot lane led to the 3rd Drake being taken, and then from there it just seemed a little bit too easy for Peace to cross across the line. Oh, 30 minutes on the dot for the game as well. So you love to see that exactly on the half-an-hour mark. And oh my, Appy in the top lane, 24,000 damage. That is a huge effort from him now that he has returned to his favorite role up there in the top.
Yeah, I think Appy played pretty well. Seemed to have a handle on the lane very early. Their composition, again, makes a lot of sense when running forwards. And I think that's, for me, the biggest takeaway. Peace's comfort zone right now is unleashing Aladoric. And I think Aladoric is most comfortable when he's able to be aggressive, run forwards, find angles. And, you know, this game, we saw so many dives and fights that were being forced from the Leona. So, I mean, basically, my conclusion is don't give him Leona or you're probably clowning.
Yeah, that was very, very difficult to watch for any Order fans out there, and I'm sure all the Peace fans in chat that might have been asking for a little bit more all season were very, very satisfied with that one. Someone else that's generally satisfied is Nat. What are you satisfied about? Please tell me.
That Peace win, it was a pretty good tip, and like I said, surprised not
Oh, you
more
did too.
people.
Oh, high five now. Well done.
Yeah.
Woo! Oh, no, we're going to go this way.
equalizer.
Oh,
The
it's
equalizer. That means, Rusty, you're not in front anymore. How's it feel?
Fine. But I really was just tipping every week because I have to tip every week back. What do you want from me?
We've had this
I think-
conversation, haven't we, Rusty? Like how the viewers and whatnot are far more invested in this than we are. We're along for the
Oh,
ride.
dude, I have DMs with Skibby where I submitted my tips and then just messaged him and said, this could be bad.
If I go through any... Actually, no. I'll probably say Elfish Guy's probably the most invested out of all the talent
okay.
in the predictions. He always seems to be very happy about himself when he gets things right. Anyway,
We can talk about this when I come back because I don't want to leave Aladoric waiting any longer. Aladoric, thank you so much for joining me and congratulations on another win. You are just absolutely on fire here at the LCO. How does it feel after that one?
Feels really good because now we're just solidifying ourselves as one of the best teams in the LCO. We're very confident going to playoffs.
Yeah, I love to hear it. I want to know, I guess I'll start with the draft. Was there anything too surprising out of that, especially with the roster change on Order, or they still played how you were expecting?
I think I was surprised at the first and second pick, but that's it really. We kind of expected everything else.
Well, then looking into the game, it was very clean from you. We had some, I guess we saw some amazing rotations from you and almost all of them successful. I want to know from your point of view how these rotations are playing out.
Pretty much we're just discussing as a team about 40 seconds to a minute before what we're playing for. So we just discuss what we want to do, like if it's Dragon or Bot Tower or Top Tower. We just talk about that and then we just know what to do on the map pretty much. Everyone's on the same page all the time.
Wow, that seems like a very different piece than we saw in the middle of this split. Yeah. A little bit more, a little bit more that I want to know about as well is, I guess, just. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. But for you guys down in bottom lane, between you and Violet, you guys are always having a really good time. How are you doing this in scrims? Like, is this aggression what you're preparing for and aiming for?
Not really. Lately, we've just been focused on becoming a better team. So we've focused less on the 2v2 bot lane and more about like what I can do for my team, what I can do for my jungler, my mid laner, my top laner. Just trying to become a better team overall. We're not really focused on 2v2 and stuff like that right now.
Yeah, well, it is absolutely paying off for you guys. I guess that's pretty much what we saw tonight, an outstanding performance. But congratulations again on the win, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Nat.
Doing a damn good job, not only in the Rift, but in the interview there too.
Yeah.
So Aladoric, very, very well played from him this evening. And I believe that's probably the reason why he is the DoorDash player that delivered. So welcome back. And here's a beautiful $100 DoorDash voucher for you to spend at home. 2-2-17, 82% kill participation, 8% damage share, but that's not what it's all about. If we had that CC stat that we know exists, he would have just been like, oh, how many times did you get 3-man stuns, 4-man stuns, 2-man stuns? I don't know, but it was a lot, and it was a beautiful amount of setup there to enable the rest of the team to just do their damn job of killing the enemy, Rusty. Am I right?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think Aladoric had a fantastic game for himself. It all started in laning phase, and like I said before, give the man a lead and watch him run away with the entire game. A very confident player when he has advantages and knows how to close out games. So definitely deserving of the DoorDash play that delivered this time around, for sure.
Yeah, just a very, very good game. And it's always great to see those supports getting the DoorDash player that delivered, because there was a couple of weeks where we did see a lot of supports actually getting them because they were just absolutely popping off with the setups. Feels like it's been a hot minute since we last saw a couple of supports getting those DoorDashers player that delivered. Now, Cat Jam, Rat Jam, Mac Jam, whichever jam you wish to use, please spam it as much as you can as we do go to another break. Exclamation playlist in chat to hear all the sick music from Warner, but we've got one big game remaining. It is going to be Legacy up against Mammoth to close out the night. We'll see ya just after the break.
It looks like they could be giving this. I don't think you fight for it. You could maybe try and steal. Alidoric's here now, though.
Oh, Malador's come in with the massive solar flare. That may just be game-changing. That surely is something that you would be proud to deliver. Tally on the flank as well, whilst Kevy has the Herald.